All right, good afternoon. Welcome back. This is still the Polity reaching you live from Abuja. I'm been joined in the studio now by Barrister Samuel Ihienseken Jr. He's a legal practitioner, human rights lawyer, and analyst. He joins me now to do justice to the state of the nation and issues trending at the moment. Good afternoon and welcome to the program.
Good afternoon. Compliment of the season.
Which is same. All right, our phone lines are open, so you can call in to make your contributions or ask your question. We'll be starting, obviously, with the issue that's taking majority of the headlines and the newsline today, which is a proposed resolution between the factions in Rivers State, supposedly involving the governor of the state, Governor FUBARA, and former governor, current FCT minister, Governor WIKE, which has made 8 resolutions. There have been different reports, and we have now the Rivers State Television is saying that there are doubts being cast on that resolution. But that being said, the contents of that meeting, according to the aides of the president, what do you make of it, if it is in fact true?
First of all, foremost, the step taken by probably the presidency, because we are not too clear on the circumstances that led to this resolution, is actually commendable. In the sense is, in any dispute resolution in the world, alternative dispute resolution other than irregular courts going to the litigation and court to resolve it is actually being commended and appreciated all over. And it's actually a good step in one way. But however, I went through the resolution and I'm not comfortable with some aspect of the resolution. I don't think the governor, I don't still believe, I've not seen the governor append the signature on the resolution. I tried to scan through, I could not see where the Governor FUBARA actually append the signature in that resolution. Being that said as it is, the issue of them going to represent a budget, one of the resolutions, them going to represent a budget to if a discontent and a full House of Assembly, where you have 5 to the governor and almost 26 to the other faction, which is now otherwise known as the APC faction. First and foremost, it is not going to be right legally, because the budget has been presented by a House of Assembly recognized by a Rivers State High Court, and it has become a law as at the day it was presented and approved. So you cannot go against something that has been passed as a law, and so that cannot also work. The issue as to parties withdrawing their cases in court, one of the resolutions, is within parties' right to actually resolve, but where dispute cannot be actually dwelled upon, cannot be looked upon, what do you expect parties to do? Then also there's also the political angle to the recognition by the House of Assembly of the APC. Some of the opinion that is a bobby trap for the governor, because if he recognizes that faction and he seems to have shortcomings, there's a disconnect between him and his predecessor, Ihienseken, that House of Assembly might be used now in a full way now to impeach him. So there's actually intrigues actually going on, but I think we are more particular about which, for my own businesses, the issue has to do with the appropriation bill and the budget that has been passed. I don't think it can be revisited, give or take or whatever it is. The other issue as to the governor absolving commissioners is within their prerogative. Nobody asks them to resign. They choose, probably for some certain reasons, in their best interest, they choose to resign. So it's left for them to reapply. And if the governor see things to add them to his cabinet. So give or take, I think it's very important. Peace should be pursued by parties, but it should not be at the expense of any inconveniences whatsoever, or peace should be sacrificed at the expense of political expediency. No, it should be a full peace. So if parties are embracing peace, let them. This is the first time I'm seeing a PDP state discussing with an APC. This is unprecedented. I don't know what is really happening in Rivers State, but probably our democracy is not growing. And so when you put everything together, it's actually a welcome development on the other hand, but there are reservations as to some other aspects.
All right, that's fair enough. Before we delve further into the resolution, something that happened before all of this. The issue of the contention of the seats of those 27 lawmakers.
Yes.
What does the law really
Yes,
say about
I've actually in your program review, I've actually spoken extensively on that issue. Regardless of the recent Federal High Court ruling that purportedly to have been delivered by Justice Donatus Okorowo of the Federal High Court Abuja, my own position and the position of eminent legal scholars and the position as to two recent cases in Aswen versus the Speaker of the Cross River State of Assembly and the Locus Classicals Supreme Court case of Sunday Fedeyo and Speaker of Ondo State House Assembly, whereby the Supreme Court has actually laid the foundation where parties can actually defect who are members of either the House of Rep or the State House of Assembly within the provisions of Section 68, Section 69, and Section 109 1AH. The Supreme Court have given an expo as to the terms, as to the means in which parties can differ from. And that is when the political party has a factionalization, a splintering, and a fragmentation. Not a local state dispute of a political party.
So it must be at the national level.
It must be the test must be at the national level. That was the definition of division of political party that can lead to defection of members. So that it is basically impossible for that political party to operate. But in the absence of that, when a member of a political party defects from this party to the other party, he automatically loses a seat, and INEC is obligated by the provisions of the Constitution to conduct a fresh election. So, the Speaker and all the naysayers and everybody who has been saying those seats are vacant, I can authoritatively tell you that those seats are vacant. Automatically, they lose their seats.
Even what if we return to the PDP, does it make a difference?
I don't think they've declared by whatever means publication. So it's what documents speak for themselves. They came out and they said they come and wave the flag of the APC. So they are only postponing the evil day. It's either they retrace their step to see how they can politically resolve this issue, lockdown, or if this matter is pursued to the logical conclusion, I can tell you on the strength of the Supreme Court decision, it was Sunday Fedeyo and the Speaker of the Ondo State House of Assembly, those members of River State, they didn't get sound legal advice, and they must lose their seats.
Yeah, that's interesting. Because it's a move made by a majority of the House.
Yes.
But that being said, what is PDP's part to play in all of this?
Yes, so PDP, we've always said PDP issue. The funny thing about Nigeria as it stands today seems not to have a very vibrant and a robust opposition party. Even the Labour who were shouting by this time last year, we not go agree, we not give shishi, they are not silent. And it's very unfortunate. We were thinking that for the first time, a very vibrant opposition party has come. But I'm surprised. This is where PDP, they should even cash in on the situation and see how they can get and consolidate their hold of River State if they are a very serious political party. I'm even surprised they've not taken the PDP national level, has not taken the initiative to proceed swiftly to court, to seek for determination and interpretation of, on the strength of those cases I've cited, on why and why the court should not declare those seats vacant. And if the court declares those seats vacant, fresh elections should be conducted for those members who have defected. So I don't know. And the provisions of the Constitution is clear on this. And so no other as you know today, there's no fragmentation, there's no splintering, there's no divisional PDP. We don't have PDP 1 or PDP 2. As it might seem to look, they've been able to hold their end. So why would those members of River State Assembly defer to APC when they have used the goodwill and the backing of the PDP to come into office? So it is unconstitutional, it is illegal, and it is condemnable.
Right, yeah, that's fair enough. But back to the resolutions, I think an issue here is even the language that is used. It says directives for resolution, almost giving the impression of orders being given. A lot of this, is this something that the president even has the right to, will I say, tell or impress upon? Take, for instance, that the remuneration benefits of all members of the Rivers State House of Assembly and their staff must be reinstated. And also the issue of resubmitting names. You said the people who resigned, it was within their own
it's a prerogative, yeah.
So that's stipulation that their names must be represented.
I don't want to believe
that
a resolution emanating from the presidency, we have that coloration of language. I just want to feel, I don't believe things which I see on the internet. I take them with a little bit of peculiarity. I look at them critically. And so I still believe, and I restate my point, I still believe, I don't think the government in its wisdom actually signed that resolution. I think it's just some set of politicians who are trying to see how these issues, probably, I feel the president, although within the meaning of ADR, Alternative Dispute Resolution, the president can intervene, can call warring parties to see how they can reach some certain compromise. But I don't think that represents the intentions or whether the governor, I'm not really in the full position in that aspect, but I don't think the FUBARA I know may look so quiet and a bit slow, but I feel he's an intelligent governor. And so, because the truth about that agreement or resolution, if he signs it, then there's a bigger picture coming. And
I think there's another question here. If he did sign it, yes, and all those signatures are there, is this in any way a legal agreement? Is this something that can be...
there are agreements in law called void agreement, an agreement. When you enter, like in law, when you enter an agreement with someone to supply cocaine, that is a voidable contract or agreement. And so I think the sincerity of that agreement, the content and the intention, I said I don't believe it. I don't believe. Maybe some of the players would have signed that document, but I don't think the governor signed that document. I sincerely feel, till when we hear from the governor officially that he signed that document, then we can conclude that we can make further clarifications or further discussions on it. But I don't feel, and that's why I don't want to go to the issues of the consequence of that document yet. But I don't feel the governor signed that document.
Right. But you spoke about one of those resolutions about revisiting or resubmitting the bill being something that
that's totally out of it. It's not possible.
But what about the fact that it was submitted to about 5%?
See, for the singular facts that it was a House of Assembly recognized by a court order from the Rivers State High Court on the principle of bindingness of court orders and court judgment and court rulings, it subsists. It is recognized, it is legal, and it is lawful. Whether the first short-term of the number of quorum or vis-a-vis, it does not matter. Provided, one thing you should understand, as I said earlier, we practice democracy. And when you say democracy, we have three branches of what you call the government: the legislature, the executive, and the judiciary. The judiciary are meant to interpret the law when the law comes to them as a judicial body. And the judiciary, the River State, however the order may be, there is no other contrary court order apart from, you have to distinguish the other second court order. The other second order is actually looking at the seats, the legality of the defection of the members of PDP to APC. That is what the second, but the second order is not talking about the recognition of who is the speaker and who are the rightful presiding members or executive members of the Rivers State Assembly. That is an issue that has been handled by the Rivers State High Court, and they have recognized the governor's fashion of the House of Assembly. I feel even if it was 5, provided they were backed by court order, it is legal.
Interesting. We'll see how that turns out. I guess the battle is still raging. But I don't know. In your opinion, how do you see this? Who do you feel has the upper hand? Because people say the governor should be the one with the power.
The whole development of River State is a welcome development.
How so?
It shows, the same Wike, he was in PDP, and this whole thing plays out. Let him have a free day with his home state. So that one thing with politics is that there's a day for posterity. It's going to remember everybody. So let's see what will happen next after now.
Interesting. I hope in all of this we get to find out.
But the only thing I'm concerned about,
Okay.
Mr. FUBARA should not be distracted by the intrigues of all these rifts. He should also know that the primary duty of why he's a governor is administration of the people and governance itself, to provide for the very good of the least people, of the goods of democracy. He should not be distracted. He should make sure that his government is working 24 hours for the River State people.
Yeah, I think it's also be fair to the Rivers people to get some answers in terms of some things that have happened during this period. Burning down, or is it throwing bombs in the state assembly?
I think we're way past that, and they are building, they collapsed it, and I think we've moved from there.
But that's the issue now. It was so swift the way we moved, because that's supposed to be a very big deal.
No,
an attack
not,
on the state's House of Assembly.
It's actually the police ordinarily. They should investigate, and they would have paraded, if actually it's not political, they would have at least by now paraded the people who have done that heinous crime. But I think we have moved past that. It's how to find a political solution to the very problem, to the deep problem of River State now.
All right. Interestingly, when you mentioned political solution, it reminded me of another story from last week or the weekend, where the IPOB leader, Navda Kano, was his case, or the appeal, the judgment from the appeal court was, quashed.
Yes.
Where his case was meant to be dismissed.
Yes.
And people keep saying perhaps the only way forward is a political solution. What did you make of that?
No, we did. A lot of people have not seen handy. Quite regrettably, I was thinking the Supreme Court upheld the Court of Appeal judgment, because I have been privileged to go through the judgment from the Court of Appeal, and in recent times that is one of the most resounding judgments to emanate from the Court of Appeal. Coming down to the Supreme Court made far-reaching conclusions, opinions, and obita the tongue, and the Supreme Court even condemned the lower court for revoking the bail of Kanonade and refusing to grant him bail. They also condemned the unlawful invasion of his home at Ufiaraku in Abia State, and they made some other pronouncement that it's impracticable, impossible for him to be alive, to be around to have faced his trial when his home were invaded. And so, I think legally, in some parts, I don't feel they lost. At least they've made their input. The only thing is that they say you should go and face. I don't, in all honesty, I really don't, in a nutshell, disagree with the Supreme Court judgment, because from my years of experience of deep research and looking at the criminal law and the criminal administration law and every other thing, I don't think when there's a breach of human rights, you should stop prosecution of criminal offenses. I don't know where that principle came out from. I appreciate the principle of extraordinary redemption, but it should not stop a pending criminal trial that was ongoing before the person's right was violated. Totally.
I believe the court said they should probably take it to
Yes, I think what they should do now is to fast-track the process of moving the file to make sure it comes before the Federal High Court and make a fresh bail application for him. That is what I think should be done, because I saw the obita di tom, the remarks made by the Supreme Court. They made certain illuminating and very clear pronouncement as to some aspect that involves canon, and so his legal team can build on that, and on that basis apply for a fresh bail application. I think this time it will succeed. I don't think he has long days at the Gulag with the DSS. I think he will definitely want.
What about his history of avoiding his bail in the first
Supreme
place?
Court also condemned that. In the excerpts of the judgment.
So that's what I'm saying. As from the point of view of whoever judge,
the only thing I was expecting the Supreme Court to do, so I've given a consequential order granting him bail.
Yeah, but my question is, if he has skipped bail before, doesn't that show a bad precedent?
The Supreme Court said there were legitimate reasons for him not to be around to breach some conditions of his bail. You will need to go through the judgment. They actually made some. I don't think it's a losing situation. Yes, if it was not just one, they said everything was condemned. No, they made some some remarks that it's far-reaching, that can assist the lower court interpret and grant him bail. And I think his court, his team, his legal team should do more, should approach to see how the fight can be moved and see how his bail now again can be looked into and see whether on some very terms can be granted.
All right, as a lawyer, this narrative and this advisor keeps coming in.
Yeah.
How do you see it? People keep saying political solution, political solution. Is that something you are familiar with?
For me, I think they should allow Kanunamdi face his trial. If he's guilty, let him face the music. If he's innocent, let the I still don't want to hold on to the opinions that the thing is purely political. Let him face his trial.
But is that something that is even legal? I think that's the question.
Yes. One thing you must understand in Nigeria is that Nigeria operates a written constitution.
All right.
And statutes, laws governs the affairs of Nigeria. So we cannot turn a blind eye and say these things do not exist. These are things. It's just that the enforcement part of our laws is not good at all. But that does not mean that these things do not exist in our books. They exist. And we are a country governed by law, so we must follow it.
All right, speaking about laws, I don't know if I'm sure you should be aware of what's been going on, particularly on social media.
Yes.
Between yesterday and day before yesterday till today. The issue of the resurgence, so to speak, of fake or dupes or products and so on and so forth. We have Nigerians everywhere posting different pictures of different products they bought that seem to have similar names with known products but are not the same, and so on and so forth. We saw that Navda closed down some shops that were making liquor just in the market without any sort of regulation and so on. I'd like to get your thoughts on that and how you think it has become even more widespread all of a sudden. But just before you answer, our phone lines are open, so you can call in to contribute or ask your questions. Please go ahead.
The first question you should ask is, where are these fake goods? Where are they emanating from? Where is the production store? Where are these things actually coming from? I was shocked when I saw a detailed analysis of different products. As I'm talking to you today, I'm even afraid to take anything that is condensed, compressed. I've since abstained myself when I saw the very horror pictures of what I saw on the internet. I've totally, in short, I've gone on sabbatical when it comes to these processed foods and because what I saw, it actually got to. I want to appeal to our brothers. There's no other country we have like our own. They should please. There's dignity in labor, and this is no longer government now. This has to do with individuals. They should know that they should think of human life first before any other thing. It's so shocking that somebody can go produce in a very unhealthy environment, substitute fake products that can take the life of human being, and we have a lot of sicknesses and a lot of diseases all over Nigeria. And I feel this as a result of these fake products in circulation. And so, where do we go from here? I don't want to stereotype. I don't want to say this is where a bulk of these items are coming from. But wherever these things are coming from, please, I want to encourage the Navda. They should do more. I know they are trying beautifully. We, the citizens, we are all ready to cooperate with them, to add voice and add advocacy and strength to them, if they are short of that. Because it has become, it's a bit now personal. Because human life is sacred and very important. And so, nobody can cheat the society at the expense of his own personal gain. So I think there should be, first of all, the National Assembly should bring a stiffer law. It should, this thing of fake drugs, fake produce, it should be on the same platform with capital offenses like kidnapping, armed robbery, and the rest of it. Because this is human life concern. Only God knows, me and you, we use our money, go to the supermarket and buy some of these things. It's very possible we have bought some of these things and we have taken them into our system. I've not been myself psychologically since yesterday, because I do take these things. I like them, though I moderate them with my daughter's advice. But we are now at a very critical time whereby we need to ask some self-questions. This is no longer government. This is we Nigerians as individuals. And I wonder that any of these corporates they catch, they should please subject them to thorough investigation and charge them forthwith to courts. I will enjoy professional bodies. Let them engage Navda and see how they can give them support, because this thing is very serious. We might not know the consequence of this fake product of what they are doing now. We must take it very detailed and very, very serious.
I think you make a very fair point there. I think there was a report the other day that said there's increase in kidney problems.
Yes, because of this fake product.
Yeah.
Because of this fake product. It's appalling.
Yes, let's talk about Navda.
Yes.
There are some sides to this. We've seen some persons come out to say they had info from insiders in Navda saying that they are actually understaffed in some places. In some states, you have about under 30 Navda staff, for the entire state. On the flip side, there's also another issue that people are raising, that the reason why these illegal structures thrive is because the cost of going legal is very, very high. So they say that some persons have spoken that they've tried to start a business here, and Navda has asked for thousands of dollars. They've asked for sponsorship of their members abroad to go and monitor or see where the product is coming from. They've asked for so much money that by the time they end up paying all the bills for Navda, there is no chance of even making profit from said businesses. So do you think there should also be maybe some easing of the way Navda does these things, and particularly the monetary aspect?
I don't think that will justify the production of fake produce and fake drugs, fake drinks, fake carbonated drink. There is no justification for this kind of heinous criminality. The thing about it is that NAFDAC is just NAFDAC. They have a regulatory agency, the Ministry of Commerce, Industry, Health. They have people they report to. If you are not satisfied with the means in which they have engaged you in order to bring your business into Nigeria, you go further and engage them. That is all we'll have business PRO. You go further. You see who's on top there to see how. But to justify this criminality, it's uncalled for. It's unacceptable by any means. It's unacceptable. And I ask NAFDAC should be open to accept people who are voluntary to assist them in this clampdown of producers of fake drinks and fake produce. This is very bad. This is not government. It is we individuals. We need to tell ourselves the truth. The people who are producing that thing, they are killers. They have killed a lot of people, and they must face justice. That is the first consciousness. And I think what we should do is that Nigerians who are vigilant, who are bold enough, where you see where they are producing these fake things, report those set of people to the nearest police station. Let it start from there before Navda can intervene. Report it. I think because you see, we cannot. This one is not evolving in human life, and it's not see. There are some certain things as a country that we should be patriotic enough to accept that this is what we can do. This is the little we can contribute to the development of Nigeria. If we can eradicate this menace that has, because only God knows the amount of fake products actually in circulation within the Nigerian economy, and we are complaining that the economy is shrinking down and some bunch of criminals. Sorry for my word, because I feel so pain and so cheated. Because how can somebody take his hard-earned money and go and buy things and find out that he brought fake? Because everything I'm seeing on the internet, fake. How did we get to this level? That we Nigerians, we don't have conscience. In Nigeria, we go and produce fake produce. This is not fair. This is not fair. Beyond the security agencies, Nigerians should be vigilant. Anywhere you know these fake products and fake goods are produced, please report to the nearest security agency so that appropriate action can be taken. Then we can move on from there.
Right. Fair enough. I've been seeing arguments all over social media. People say, well, why is it that Nigerians are like this? And there's this rebuttal I've been seeing, which is that the developed countries, the ones that are working well, it is not just that the people there are inherently better than Nigerians, but it is as a result of deterrence. You know that if you step out of line, the law will...
There will be consequences.
Yes. So in that regard, you mentioned something about capital punishment or thereabouts.
Yes.
How does that work? You know,
it will serve as
what is the current state of things?
And probably, you know, I don't even know whether those ones they caught in Aba, somewhere in the south is Aba, or which we know sometimes some of these things emanate from that side. We don't even know whether they were even arrested or they're in detention. Because if you catch suspects of that nature, then let them face there are enough laws. They should be treated as people of the same level like people who are peddling drugs. These things, because human life is involved. So we should I think the war against fake production of fake produce in Nigeria by these funny charlatans and characters is beyond, I think is an individual tax of everybody, because the overall effect of what these guys are producing very soon. And the funny thing is that we have a failing healthcare system that can, if you are not so rich, it's very hard to cater for your health in Nigeria. So we have that already. So we should do more to save the situation. So I think the legislative arm of government now should intervene and pass a very stringent law. And these people who are caught, the bulk of them, there was a heavy war fought by Dora Akunyili, who fought this cartel and this cabal to stand still. And I think it should go beyond that.
They fought back.
It does not matter. The thing about this whole thing is that evil do not always triumph over good. It will take some time, but good will triumph over evil. This is for me, this is the high point of this year. And it's a very, Nigerians must cooperate with all these agencies, Navda and what have you, to clamp down on the producers of this fake produce, wherever they are, in spite of ethnicity, religion, or what have you. Go out for them. This is our country. We have no other country. We must make it work, and we must make it better. Government do not, I don't think government have a fault or a blame on this. This is purely individuals who are trying to jeopardize Nigeria economy and put people in inherent danger. And so it must be tackled with all sincerity of purpose.
All right, fair enough. I appreciate your zeal on this issue. It's a worrying one, really, for all Nigerians, like you said. So let's quickly move on to another matter now. Recently, President Tinubu met with the Newspapers Proprietors Association of Nigeria, where he promised or pledged that he will ensure there is freedom of speech, or more freedom of speech, during his tenure as president. I'd like your thoughts on that, as to what we can expect. You know, all the while we hear a lot of government officials, any opportunity they get, they say social media bill, monitoring social media, monitoring speech, and so on and so forth. What's your take on how freedom of speech should be approached?
No, when you compare, you know, when you look at once it has to come with the observance of core human rights, you compare this administration to this administration. I think Tinubu's administration has done very well, more than the Buhari administration, when it comes to observance of key human rights, things like freedom of expressions and other rights that are coordinate of the same stance with it. The last administration, they were hell-bent on shutting down the social media, gagging it, shutting. They clamped down a lot of bloggers. But the Tinubu administration, the government even went personally. They went all out for people who were against their policies, who spoke out, who protested. They clamped down on them. We had several instances, but I think there's a little bit departure from that government in this one. I've not really heard where the Tinubu government, they went all out for any person who has basically criticized them and put them on their foot. I've not seen that. But the last government, even when a little boy actually made a very statement that should not even take anybody serious, that the president's wife is getting fat, then he was arrested. That is the height of breach of the right to freedom of expression. So I want to commend the Tinubu's government. You know, as a human rights activist, I want to commend them first, but they should do more. They should empower the National Human Rights Commission to make sure they are up to their task for whatever law that was setting them up for them to achieve their mandate and purpose. And I also expect the Tinubu's government not to actually engage in in steps that will gag or reduce human rights activities in Nigeria, or that will actually be in breach. They've done so far. I want to commend them, because I am bold to express my mind. In Buhari's government, I know how many times we went to court. We're basically going to court every day to challenge the government of the day on some certain aspect that has to do with violation of core human rights. So, but there's a departure with this present government. Is an improvement, is a welcome development, and I expect them to do more. I'm taking equal cognizance. I'm also imploring, because there's an aspect of our laws which the very powerful elites now, they use in clamping on innocent people who, instead of them approaching regular civil court on grounds of defamation, they say they go on cybercrime, cyberbullying, and the police are willing to. That has to do with Section 24 of the Cybercrime Prohibition Act. There is already an ECOWAS court judgment on that aspect. I expect the Tinubu's government, the Attorney General of the Federation, to within reasonable time, please look at that law, because it's not being used by some very powerful Nigerians to arrest, guard, shut up, silence the very downtrodden and the very people who cannot speak for themselves. They should look at that aspect of our law and will make improvement from there.
All right. While we're speaking about freedom of speech, I think a lot of people, want the right to be able to say a lot of things. Even on this program, I've had some guests who make allegations in very confident manner, and when I ask for proof or evidence, they say, "What proof or evidence do I need?" So, what's the flip side to this? What's the limitations of a person's free speech? Is there any?
Yes. The right to freedom of expression is actually absolute. But whereby a person goes beyond the boundaries of just expressing himself and in a very insultive, innuendo, make some certain remarks, defamation comes in. And the issue as to criminal label, criminal defamation, it has been settled by the Court of Appeal decision in Ato Nwankwo versus State and DPP versus Chike Obi. The court has deprecated and condemned the offense of criminal label and criminal defamation, and known as the law of sedition. It no longer exists in our law. So when anybody is being harassed by such old and inchoate laws, I feel they should get lawyers and challenge it. The only issue I think that has become enough, because I'm an active member of the civil society and I get a lot of reports on a daily basis, has to do with the issue as to that Section 24 of the Cybercrime Prohibition Act. It's being used to hold human rights activists, bloggers, and even the members of the MPN who actually made publications to that effect. So I think the way out is that, how do you know a maturing democracy is the allowance of the right of people to criticize the government constructively. And the government should work, the government should develop. They should not take that from the ordinary people. And so, if it was in Buhari's government, that is a total write-off. It's a government that they didn't want to allow any other opinions. So, I think the Tinubu's government, one of the things that actually made me see reasons with him when he came on board is that he said he will see that freedom of speech and the right to criticize them is maintained. And that alone, I said, if it's possible, and they've not done badly or fairly, in spite of some certain issues going on in Nigeria, on that aspect of the core essence. And so I think we should do more. That once that law is looked into, drastically there will be an improvement of freedom of speech in Nigeria.
Fair enough. The people should always have their say, regardless. So, like the topic says, let's sort of round up with what you feel was the key moments this year. We know election took over the bulk of the news cycle and everything. But were there other moments that stood out for you that you feel maybe might have been overlooked, I think?
It has been a very wonderful year.
On a personal level?
Yeah. It's actually a very fantastic, it was an election year, and before the elections I was always coming here, and the good thing is we are not Nostradamus, but everything we said was going to happen actually took place. And we should not live in self-denial that these things are not what they are or what will happen. I was crying here that if the Labour and the PDP don't come together and reach a common understanding, they will be defeated and they will be surprised by the outcome. And you asked me, I remember you asked me some days to the election, that what do you think? I said PDP will come out second, Labour third, and the APC will carry the day for a whole lot of reasons. We took our time to actually, but they thought we just want to talk. We are just rabura rasa. We look at this lawyer. He comes on air and it has played out. And so the truth is that we must work with the government of the day. More importantly, the Supreme Court has pronounced them to be the legitimate government of the day. The truth is that we must engage them. They might not be getting it all out right, but we must engage them. This is Nigeria. And a lot of factors are actually militating against the advancement of Nigeria, even beyond the management of this present executive federal government. So I think the viewpoint is, I think the Labour, I think they would have had the maturity to appreciate that there are so many voices to democracy. And let political wisdom always prevail at the end of the day. For the PDP, I feel they should grow up and be a vibrant opposition party, considering they are spread all over Nigeria. They should not look at some certain factors, and they should be bold enough to expel members who are APC, who are doing anti-party activities. I don't want to be so open. They should be bold enough so that they can restructure themselves, reorganize themselves, and prepare for future elections. The political parties too, they must also engage INEC. There's a peculiar problem with INEC, and that has to do with their neutralness and impartiality as an electoral federal government agency. I'm not impressed with how INEC has been conducting elections. The allegations, serious allegations, flying even with the recent election. I think there is need. I appeal to the president. He should see how the issue of INEC can be looked into. Yes, there must be real electoral reform, because we cannot be talking about electoral reform without looking at the present INEC board as it stands now. I don't have confidence in going forward with this present INEC team. I think more should be done. Then to the Ministry of Finance and the Federal Executive Council on the economy of Nigeria, I feel they can do more than these things they are doing. Beyond politics, they need to make sure that the gains of what their intentions are. They might have the intentions, but there are people at the local level who are suffering, who do not even know whether government exists. There are some people who cannot eat. The poor of the poorest. It's not the ones the ministers are calling. They should find a way to reach out to these people. Then our judiciary, we cannot keep living in self-denial. We are going to 2024. The truth about it is we must not repeat. The judiciary of Nigeria also need reforms. Our security agencies, the NSA is doing a good job. I must commend him. In the terms of curbing kidnapping and banditry, he has a very good pass mark compared to what we are witnessing in Buhari's government. They should do more. The Nigerian police, I think they can do more than this one they are doing. They should be better off. They should respect core human rights and see how these things can be done. Then to the ordinary Nigerians, I want them to have confidence in the system. They should not think because it has come to APC, it is over, or they are prescribed or what they wanted as their president. No, we must all involve in the process of national building. This is our country. The first thing is that we must think Nigeria first before any other thing. I think with this, we can move as a growing country and we can become a better people.
That's fair enough. So just finally, do you have any words for Edo 2024, just around the corner?
Unfortunately, that is my state. And
unfortunately?
No. Yes. Unfortunately, because a king is never respected in wherever he comes from. So when it comes to the kind of the respect I enjoy outside, wherever I come from, it's more. And the friends, my fellowship, relationship with people is more the outside than where I supposedly actually come from. So I think The PDP, they should be careful. They should not anoint any candidate. They should allow people go to the primaries and go and test their resolve and get the best candidate. If not, the APC will take over Edo State. Yes, they will take over Edo State. They are better organized, they are smart, and they are yearning to take back what they lost through the PDP. And so they should be careful. The Labour Party, once again, I don't see them. Their strength is Edo South. And some things are actually playing out. I don't really see the Labour Party, with all due respect to them, clinching the Edo State 2024.
All right. Thank you so much, Samuel Ihienseken Jr. It's been great having you on the program. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right, that's how we round up the program for today. Don't forget to join us every weekday, 2 p.m., 3:30 p.m. The POLITY reaches you live from Abuja. See you tomorrow. Bye for now. I am Amadin Ogbewe.